Sometimes it's hard to be a good parent when there's all this resistance. How can I avoid bitterness and anger when I give my kids consequences? I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins, a professional psychologist. I've worked with families my entire career, and I got a question for you. Do you mean your own bitterness and anger? Or do you mean the bitterness and anger that you get from your kids when you give them consequences? Let's take on both of those. Starting with you as a parent, because that's where everything starts for positive parenting, isn't it? When you feel anger, bitterness, resentment, frustration, any of these sound familiar to you? It's a signal to you that there's something off in the control and maturity interplay. Basically, all that means is the more mature your kids are, the more control they get to have over their own life. And we have a natural sense of this as parents, because when our kids are showing us defiance or a lack of cooperation, we kind of want to clamp down on them. Have you noticed that? You increase your control in this situation. It's a natural thing that parents do. When they start to become more responsible or mature, we tend to back off a little bit. Sometimes we have a hard time doing that as parents because we're kind of control freaks ourselves. Look inside and see if that fits you somewhere. And if it does, fine, we can deal with that. But the point is here, we're constantly balancing the control that we take over our kids with the control that they take for themselves. Frustration, anger, resentment, bitterness, those feelings occur for parents when there's a mismatch. For example, when our kids have far more control and freedom than they deserve based on their behavior. Or when our kids are feeling frustrated and angry, it's usually because they feel a pinch on their own freedom and control when they think that they deserve more. It's the mismatch that causes the frustration. I really like to look at these feelings, frustration, anger, and resentment, as indicators. They're indicator feelings, but they're a little misleading too, because when we feel angry, we think that somebody needs to change something, and we know who it is too. That's the misleading part. Frustration and anger is an indicator that we need to change something, and it's usually what level of control are we taking. I shared earlier that as kids gain maturity, they also get to have more control over their own life. But maturity is more about certain characteristics that you'll recognize immediately than it is about age. For example, their willingness to cooperate. In fact, let's just roll with that for a moment. For me, in the models that I teach in our parent coaching programs, cooperation is the way we decide what kind of an intervention we need to use as a parent. If your kids refuse to cooperate, you have to use consequences that do not require cooperation. This is not rocket science, folks. It is actually psychological science, and that's a fun study. But it's not that complicated. If your kids refuse to cooperate, you got to pick consequences that don't require cooperation. Are you with me? And this is where most parents get tipped over. So I'm going to do you a huge favor right now without trying to think through, what does he mean, consequences that don't require cooperation? Look, go to the URL on the screen right now, drpauljenkins.com/consequences. I will give you a PDF printout. Now let's talk about the kids and their frustration and anger. Before I get to that, if you're really engaging with this content, I want you to take a moment to click that subscribe button and share it with someone that you know would really benefit from this as well. Let's spread the word. Kids feel anger and resentment and bitterness, typically because they're not getting something that they wanted, or because they're thwarted in their typical approach to getting what they want. Maybe you just changed the rules on them so that it used to go kind of like this, and now it's going like that because mom or dad is watching this crazy YouTube channel. In fact, I got to tell you, one of our subscribers sent me an email and said, "Dr. Paul, my kids hate you." And I'm like, I don't want kids to hate me. Well, They don't really hate you. They just can tell that since we've been watching the channel, things are different at home. And I hope that that's true for you as well. And you can throw me under the bus anytime you want. It's fine with me if you say, hey, Dr. Paul said we should try this. Blame me if you need to. I want you to have a good relationship with your kids. They're going to feel some frustration, anger, resentment, bitterness when things change. And that's okay. In fact, that phrase is going to save you a lot of heartache as a parent. The phrase I just used, and that's okay. I want you to practice saying that and say it with a little lilt to your voice. Raise your eyebrows just a touch, okay? Connect with it, and that's okay. They're not going to be happy about this, and that's okay. It is okay. They don't have to be happy about it. I used to tell my kids this too. Hey, the great thing about living in our home, you don't have to like it. And I say it with a smile, and they're like, what is going on here? Dad's kind of gone nuts. But really, it's not required for them to be happy about this. I can tell you from my experience as a clinical psychologist, they will experience more happiness and peace and confidence and contentment as you start to implement these positive parenting principles that we talk about here on the channel all the time. They will become more secure. They will become more confident and happy. They will experience more peace in their life. I know this from 3 decades of clinical experience. But when you change the rules on them, they're not gonna like it. And that's okay. You with me? Let's practice that. Keep positive about these changes that you're making because you're doing it in their own best interest. You know this, they probably don't, and that's okay. Look, how your kids feel is really up to them. They'll blame you. They'll say, you're making me so mad. You don't have to buy what they're selling. Okay? It doesn't mean you're making them mad. It means that their thinking is causing feelings inside of themselves. The rules of cognitive psychology apply to your kids as well. How they feel is up to them. You get to maintain a calm voice, calm face, calm body. My friend Nicolene Peck drives this point home all the time, and she's brilliant about that. Calm voice, calm face, calm body. This is how you're going to show up as a parent. They're not going to be happy about it. And that's okay. See, you maintain the calmness. I believe that somebody has to be concerned about the outcomes. And if it's you, it's not them. Your calmness shows a detachment from the outcome. It's like, I've got things under control. I'm good. And then they have to start thinking about their situation a little more clearly. This is what helps to teach kids responsibility. As your coach and as a psychologist, I have to share this next little piece with you because it's important to be aware of. Sometimes we avoid implementing effective rules or giving effective consequences to our kids because we don't like how they feel. Will you connect with that for just a minute? You might be avoiding doing effective things as a parent because you're worried about how they're going to take it. You're worried that they're not going to be happy about this. That's why I gave you that tool, and that's okay. It's okay if they're not happy with it. Trust yourself to be doing the best that you know how to do for your kids. And as you know better, you do better. Right? That's why you're watching this channel to start with. You're getting new ideas. Well, let's implement those as we move forward. It's not your job to make sure that your kids are happy. It's your job to love them no matter what and even if. Did you hear that coming? If you've watched this channel very long, you have. Your job is to love them no matter what and even if. Even if they're not happy about your limits? Yeah. Because it's okay if they're not happy with the limits. You're still going to do appropriate limits as a parent. That little insight, I think, could really help. Just check your own heart and mind. Let's see if there's a place where you are avoiding doing what you already know you need to do out of fear of how they're going to feel about it. Check in on that. Okay, and we've got your back. You don't have to do this alone. We've got all kinds of support for you here on the channel, and hopefully this video is helping you to get that perspective a little bit. Hey, you've got this, and you don't have to do it alone. That next video will share 5 powerful secrets for teaching children responsibility. Let's do everything that we can to help these kids.